part second, sorry, part second of our live session on the topic of friendship. We will talk about the idioms, particularly. We'll focus mainly on the language to learn for the IELTS preparation, and then we will see like what which are to be used. Actually, on that day, I did half of the portion, and half of the portion was left. So I finally thought that I should have the live session like this rather than having that live session on my Zoom application. So whomsoever will come, they're all welcome to come. We will actually continue with the kind of idioms to be used that we were doing earlier as well. So just wait for a while. Let us see that whether it is getting shared, or I'll share it on different platforms. Mhm. It's copied. So, so pardon me if I am doing something wrong. Mm. So there were some questions which were left actually to be done. But before that one, we will complete the part of actually doing all those idioms first. So we will start with our childhood. During the childhood, we make friends. So the idioms that I'm going to talk about first would be the idioms for the childhood friendship that we make. So the first one that is that is to go way back. What does it stand for, to go way back? It means to have known each other for quite a long time, from a very long time from the beginning itself. We can say that instead of saying that he's my childhood friend, um, like you can say that our friendship goes way back. Way back means to say like it is from the childhood time period, or from the time when we were quite young in our age. So example for that one is, she is my best friend. We go way back to our kindergarten. Like we go way back to our kindergarten. That means we are friends from the time when we were in the kindergarten. So there we can utilize this one. Or especially when it comes to the speaking exam, there when we are talking about our childhood friend, there we can say that our like we were being friend from quite a while. Our friendship goes way back to the kindergarten. We started together during the school time, and after high school, like we separated or we changed our streams, and we went to different streams. So that's how it is. To go way back stands for like for a very long time. When something goes for a very long time in the past, so there, like if you know somebody for the very long time, there you can say that to go way back. Next one is the childhood sweetheart. The childhood sweetheart, that means a person who you were very close to, or you love, um, you had love with as a child, when you were a child. Like that's your childhood sweetheart. So it doesn't mean to say for any particular gender. It can be anyone. Okay. I'm still in touch. Like example is, I'm still in touch with my childhood sweetheart. um we were inseparable back then. Like inseparable, that means to say there are many friends that we have in our life, like whom we like the company of, and we won't like to get separated from. So it becomes difficult for many kids, or for many adolescent kids, or the teenagers especially. When they get separated, they cry a lot first, and then thereafter they settle down for a while, and then thereafter the things proceed. But that particular person who whom you don't want to get separated from is your childhood sweetheart. So you can use this as a word for somebody to be recognized as your childhood sweetheart. Somebody can be your childhood sweetheart. It can be your true friend, your best friend, somebody in the family whom you love the most, and you got separated from that person just because of some kind of issue in life, or something like that. So the next one is, we have done the two one like the two go way back, and then we have done the childhood sweetheart. Next one is inseparable as kids. Like from someone, if you are inseparable as kids, like you were not able to get rid of each other, or no, not actually, you don't want to get rid of, you don't want to get rid of it, but you never wanted to get away from each other. So that is inseparability, of being together. Like it's like being so close during the childhood that you never wanted to be separated. You never wanted to be away from anyone, from that particular person, not from anyone. It is from that particular person that you never wanted to get away from. So there you can utilize that too. Okay, give me a second. Then there is to grow apart. To grow apart stands for like gradually losing the bond. So there are times when you understand that the other person whom you are having the friendship with, or whom you are friend with, that person is not responding well, but you don't want to actually make the things messy, and to make them quite decent one, uh, the things should go gradually, not very fast, and all of a sudden, if you're gonna become something very outrageous in taking decisions and becoming angry with the person, so it doesn't suit you. So all in all, what I would say that for this one is to grow apart means like silently, slowly, and gradually when you are moving apart, or when your bond is getting over, like losing, um, your bond is losing over time. So then there you can use that one. When friends gradually lose the friendship, but not all of a sudden, but over the time. And they understand that now there is no need of actually sticking together, because things are different, some choices are different, and sometimes even, likings become different all of a sudden because of the change of the period of time, or because of the change of the life patterns. So reason may be any, but there are chances when people become like that, and then thereafter they grow apart. They grow apart. That means their bond become weaker and weaker with the passage of time, and then they decide to actually leave. Okay, leave each other. Now, next one is to relive the good old days. It stands for when you are trying to go in the memory of old times, and then you're reminiscing the past. So the happy times, especially when you were childhood and you spent a lot of time together, and you're reminiscing that period of time. That particular way of presenting your thought is to relive the good old or golden days. You can say that to relive the golden days, to relive the good old days, or to relive the special days, or something like that. You can actually um, denote that as a phrase, or something like in the combination of few words. When you want to say, then you can see that like to relive the old past, or to relive the good old past, or you can say that to relive the golden time period of our life, that is our childhood. So that is all about the childhood. Like there are five of the idioms for the childhood. Next one would be for the workplace that we're going to talk about. Now, the first one for the workplace. Workplace is a very beautiful thing happening to any employee, or any person who is living the life very jubilantly and very energetically. So that person would try to find out solace somewhere. When he's not trying to get any friend during the childhood, he would try to get friends during the period of workplace, but which is actually sometimes informal way of actually showing your expressions, showing your emotions. I would say that can be good friends, but the people who are working at the workplace will definitely think for themselves first, then thereafter for others. So that is more of the formal friendship when it comes to the workplace friendship. So there is a certain word, there is a certain term from the workplace we will talk about is a work spouse. So we know what is the meaning of spouse, but what is work spouse? That particular colleague with whom you share a very close bond, almost like a partner. Like uh, when you are with that person, you feel quite relaxed. You don't worry about work, and you think that everything is going like butter. The life is like butter, butter flow. And you don't have to worry about it, like when it comes to living with that particular person. So whenever there is for example, you are doing any kind of particular shift during the period of his presence or her presence, that particular time period, during that time period, if you are not finding it hard, that person is going to become very close to you, and you're sharing your emotions and everything with that person, which is actually, I would say that um, from the workplace point of view, it is not good. But when it comes to actually finding somebody to understand you, then we always look for somebody who would listen to us, who would actually try to understand us. Maybe later on the person is going to ditch you, but in the beginning, we find it that the person is going to help you in some way. So that is why that particular person who will stand by you during the work time, and then become your good friend of yours, then that person is known as work spouse of yours. So that person would be your work spouse, not your real spouse, let me tell you. So you don't consider that person to be the real spouse of yours, but consider the person to be the work spouse only. Do not consider anything else. To build bridges, we have done that in the previous session. Something about to break the bridges or to burn the bridges, actually. It is to build the bridges. So, build the bridges means to establish good relationships. Building obviously is a good thing. Breaking or burning something is not good. So when you're burning the bridges, you're breaking the bonds. When you're building the bridges, you're making good relationships, especially with the colleagues when it comes to use such kind of words. So, for example, there is a question in your ELTS examination that is there anyone in the workplace that whom you really admire, that the person whom you can never get apart from, or you don't think that your relationship will never go apart, okay, never grow apart. So you can say that there is a person who always have a tendency to be a good friend of anyone or everyone, and he knows how to build bridges whenever there is a kind of break of relationship, or whenever there is a kind of pauses in the relationship. The person knows, and that person becomes actually the leader in later on in your team. So that person has this quality and tendency to actually, build the bridges or something. So to establish good relationships, and the people who know how to build good relationships become good leaders in life as well. Let me tell you, who know who know that, yeah, every person matters, every team member matters. So that person is good at making relationship and is good at building bridges. British. So to have someone's ear means, like, it's not about taking the ear of someone. It's not about that. To have someone who listens to you, to have someone's ear, that means who values your opinion at work. Whenever you're working, you think that nobody's trying to understand you, and that particular person, when you go to, would definitely listen to you very well and would try to understand you in a decent way, and would try to give you a point of view that if you are going wrong somewhere, then he or she would guide you in some manner. So there are chances in your life when you feel that like this in this particular workplace, nobody is trying to understand me, and then you will try to find someone who would have the ear to listen to what you say. Okay, so that particular time period is a very, very, I would say that difficult time period. Just a second. Retouch. Retouch all. What is that? Highlight saved. Hmm. So the thing is, then the next one is to be in someone's corner. That means you're tagging as a partner with someone, like you're helping somebody at work. To have someone at work who supports and backs you up, or to be in someone's corner. That means you're on somebody's side. Corner, usually when we are going in the wrestling ring, we have somebody as a tag partner. So that person would be actually backing you up whenever you feel energyless, and whenever you feel that now I can't do some work, I need some rest. That person is going to stand by you, and will be standing in your corner, or to be like that person would be in your corner. So example for that one would be when I was stressed out about about my presentation and the formation of my presentation. She was in the corner helping me prepare. He was in the corner, or Jane was in the corner to help me. Or you can take anybody's name, like whom you really admire and whom you really think that the lady or the male is helping you out in that such scenario. Then thereafter, there is very beautiful one is friendly competition. Friendly competition, I've heard it from my father's mouth also. Like the competition has to be like the rivalry between those people. Rivalry, that means there's a certain sort of competition between the friends with good like nature, or I would say that encouraging nature, so that people would be those two people who are in the competition would be appreciating each other's efforts. It's not like having a competition to show someone's values down, or to show somebody to be of down values, or downing someone or belittling someone is not right in any sense. So friendly competition is good, but should not be that sense that somebody is trying to overpower someone else. So then there are some idioms now that we're going to talk about, would be for the long distance relationship. Like it's particularly in my relation, I would say that the long distance relationship or long distance friendship, when it comes to. So for that one, we have a few of the idioms. One of them is the miles apart but close at heart. Miles apart but close at heart. I am miles apart from my wife, but I'm close at heart. I'm miles apart from my daughter. I'm close at heart. So I'm miles apart from my mother. I'm close at heart. So being physically away, but emotionally very close to someone when you are, then there you can use miles apart but close at heart. Very beautiful one. Miles apart and close at heart. And then thereafter, out of sight, out of mind. That's a different one. Out of sight, out of mind. There are situations in life when people get separated just because when they go out of sight, and they forget each other. So it is used sometimes negatively in life as well. So what we can say is, um, when somebody is far away, then you forget the tendency or the chances of that person to be forgotten are quite high. So, for example, if I hope we stay in touch, I hope we stay in touch because I don't want to become out of sight and out of mind in your life. So, in that scenario, you can say that. Okay. Then thereafter, to bridge the gap, to build the bridge the gap. Like when there is a certain sort of gap between some friends, there when they are making some bridging between, and strengthening the relationship in some sense, uh, despite the distance between them, then they are bridging the gap. Like we call each other weekly, um, and they call each other weekly to bridge the gap, and stay connected. Staying connected these days is very important because the networking is really important actually. But when it comes to friendship or being friendly to someone, uh, It's not required that you need to make connection with someone. When connection is something else, like is a business term. But when it comes to being friend to someone, we need to be truly friend. But when it comes to the workplace friends, it's clear that we have to bridge the gap sometimes to keep the connection stronger, so that we are not going to lose that particular connection for the business purpose, for our family purpose, for our life purpose. It all depends. Like the strongness or the firmness of the relationship depends upon how close the bond is, whether it is a colleague to colleague relationship, or is it is it the relationship for a certain person, like who's in your family. It all depends upon that. Then thereafter, we have to pick up where we left off. Like when when there is a gap, when there's a gap and you left off, and you know that now there are chances that the friendship is going to be over, or the relation is going to be over, and we haven't seen each other for quite a while, and then to to continue that particular relationship, um, is to pick up from where you have left. Like even after a year apart, example is we picked up where we left off, like no time had passed. That means there is no gap that had occurred between them. So it is very rare that the people pick up these days from where they left, uh, because once you have left, they have different choices. They have different chances to get new partners. So these days, that's the scenario that people may leave. So, but the tendency has to be, or chances are possibly high for the people to leave each other. But if the relationship is strong enough, then I don't think so that the people are definitely going to pick up from the where they have left. So that's how it is. Then thereafter, the thing is to keep the spark alive. That means to keep the relationship alive, keep the spark, 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 to keep that particular flame of love or flame of friendship alive. That means to maintain the closeness and excitement between the long distance relationship, in between the long distance relationship, is to keep the spark alive, it means. Then comes the idioms, which are to maintain the friendship. Like it is to have one thing is to have the friendships, and we know that being friendly to each other is good. But when it comes to maintaining the friendship, it's more important. Like maintenance is important. Like if we are not maintaining, if we are not prompting each other, or pampering each other, then definitely the relationship sucks for certain period of after the certain period of time. It starts like that, then it starts, stinking badly. When it comes to maintaining the friendships, we have the first one, to water the friendship. To water the friendship, that means to grow it like the way we water the plant. Why we water the plant? We water the plant to make it grow bigger and bigger and higher and higher. The same way we need to nurture. We need to nurture and nourish the friendship to keep it healthy. So, example is the friendships need effort. You have to water the friendship to keep it alive. To keep it alive, that means to water the friendship. Sorry, to keep it alive, to keep it sparking alive. Um, or to keep the spark alive, we need to water the friendship. You need to water the friendship. So simply like that. Who does that work in between you and your friend? That would be the question. Who does that work? Like, uh, he does water the friendship sometimes when it is needed, or she does that, or something like that. So there you can use. Then thereafter, there are other, like to stand the test of time. To stand the test of time, that means whenever there are hard times, most probably the probability is that the friends are going to leave each other. But the people who will stand the test of time, because the times are difficult and you're not leaving each other. So those people are standing the test of time, oh, then that is a true friendship. A friendship that remains strong over the period of time or over the years, even after there are hard times. So our friendship has stood the test of time. We have been close for decades. That is one example for that. Our friendship has stood for, or like stood the test of time. Like, it all depends upon the user of the particular idiom or the phrase, that to change the verb into different form, whether you're talking about the past tense, present tense, or whichever tense you're talking about. It all depends upon you, that how you're going to change that particular form of verb. So you have to definitely change the form of verb depending upon the statement that you're talking about. If you're talking about the past period, definitely stand will not remain stand. You will have to say stood. So he stood the test of time all the times. She stood the test of time. It can be, for in my case, I would say my wife. So whenever there were tough times, she never left me. So that is why, like, our relationships stood the test of time. I would say that. Every person usually say that. So to iron out differences, iron out, that means when we are ironing out the differences. So to resolve the issues, when there are kind of curves, there are kind of wrinkles in the relationship, then we are trying to press them down, and we are ironing them down, so that the love and the smoothness or smoothiness stays there. So that's to create the smooth functioning of the relationship. Um, we need to iron out the differences sometimes. So sometimes our parents usually say that when it comes to the relationship between brother to sister, or sister to sister, or sister to brother, or brother to brother, something like in any way. So brother to brother sometimes. So in that scenario, again, that would stand like our parents usually used to say that iron out your differences yourself. I don't want to get into your things. Okay. To resolve any issue or conflict in the friendship, or in the relationship, you can say that. I am not actually sticking only to the friendship, but also to other things, to other relations as well, because every relation for us is important. If every relation is important, then definitely we will actually uh, make sure that when we are trying to use in one particular idiom or a phrase, not in one particular situation, but in different other situations as well. So then there is another, the phrase, or what we say, idiom, to rekindle a friendship. Rekindle, that means to restore a friendship or to renew the friendship. Sometimes there is a fight and there is a scuffle between two friends, and they grow apart. They leave each other. And with the passage of time, they realized that one, nobody was at the fault, but only the time was tough, and only the time was not good, and the time was so cruel that they left. And then they reignited the flame, and then there you can say that there was a rekindling of the relationship, and there was a rekindling of a friendship. To rekindle a friendship means to restart the relationship, to restart the friendship again. So there are lots of times, like I have seen that in my case as well, like when it comes to the childhood friends, when it comes to the school friends, we have restarted many a times. And then thereafter, to put in the efforts, that means to put your endeavors, to put your all soul, your whole soul into the relationship, so that the friendship to stay strong. To make the friendship stay strong, you would do this, to put in some effort. To obviously, it's a common one to be used, whether somebody is putting efforts in studies, there you can use it. But when it comes to friendship, that means you're putting in efforts to make the relationship stronger, to keep this relationship stronger. Now, this is the end of those 20 idioms or 20 phrases out of them. Some of them are phrases, some of them are idioms. So that is the end of these idioms and the phrases, or whatever we say. But now we will talk about some questions where we can use them. So The first question is, do you have a childhood friend you are still close to? In this question, we most probably have to use some kind of relationship with someone who go way back. So, what are the different idioms that you can actually fix up in that scenario is to go way back, inseparable as kids, or relive the good old days. So, I would suggest you, whenever you're going to make an answer for this particular question, just keep in mind that I gave you the answer for go way back, inseparable as kids, and the third one is relive the good old days. So relive the good old days. We all know, like the language that I'm using for all these idioms is very simple, very very much understandable. I would say that after this one, if you are able to answer, then it would be a blessing for me um, on your part. And I would suggest you to comment as well after this live session ends. So you can comment in the live session for each of these like idioms if you want, and that if you understood. Then thereafter, there we have another question. The first question, just keep it in mind and keep those three idioms in the mind and try to use that one and fix that out and listen to that one yourself. And that is one of the main important thing. Whenever you're practicing speaking, you have to listen to yourself also. And how can you listen to yourself? You have to record your voice. So stand in front of the mirror, or sit in front of the mirror, or keep a mirror in front of you in any way. Just do something like that so that you won't need any partner to listen to your answer. So whatever answer you have framed, one or the other time, you would do what? You would write it down. Later on, you won't write it down. Your mind is going to prepare. Your mind is going to prepare. If you know the method of actually making a statement, when you know that you're talking about a certain topic, you have been given a topic of childhood friend, you will go way back to your old past and you will relive the old golden days to bring back that childhood friend and will speak about it. You will make or frame some statements about your friend, and it is very easy. Like, it's not about any kind of rocket science. It's not a rocket science that you have to find out somebody and you'll have to actually answer about that. You are not going after Vasco da Gama. You are not going after Albert Einstein. You are not going after any biographer, autobiographer, or any kind of author. You are going after your friend. And if you cannot say anything about your friend, that means you have less emotion for your friend. So, to express your friendship in that scenario, you need to actually answer this question to yourself, that do you have any childhood friend whom you think that you are still very close to? Then you will have to use go way back. You'll have to use inseparable as kids, and you will have to use relive the good old days. Three of them in one question. I'm not saying that all of those idioms that you have done are to be used in each of the question. I'm saying that one at least in one question that I'm gonna speak further, all those questions. How do you stay in touch with your long distance friends? How do you stay in touch with your long distance friends? What are the different ways? I spoke some of the idioms about the long distance friends as well, long distance friendship as well. So the first one was miles apart but close at heart. Miles apart and close at heart has to be used in this question. How do you stay in touch? What are the different ways to stay in touch with a long distance friend? If you have a long distance friend, how do you stay in touch with them? Okay, miles apart, that means we are way apart, but we are still close to each other. But the hearts are very close to each other. Relationship is strong, that's why it is like that. Poles apart, but close at heart. So that's the way actually you can create also. Like miles apart, poles apart, you can say the poles apart, North Pole, South Pole, but close at heart. So just keeping this question in mind, there is one particular poem, Ecstasy by John Donne. Yeah, John Donne. So that comes in my mind. Ecstasy was also about that one, and I know that our teacher was Harpreet Kaur. She taught us that in our master degree. Like She taught about the ecstasy, that what ecstasy actually stands for. There was a different other poem like when we talk about beyond metaphysics or something like that. So he was John Donne was the poet of metaphysics or metaphysic, like beyond physical, something related to the soul. So that poles apart, we understood accordingly that. So poles apart, the lovers or the husband wife were poles apart, but still they were very close at heart. So why they were close at heart? Because obviously the relationship was strong. Then what else that I talked about was out of sight, out of mind. So that relationship should not be like that. Any relationship should not be like that if you are staying out of sight and you becoming out of the mind of the person. And it should never be done like that. To bridge the gap means to actually create or maintain the relationship. It's like that. Then thereafter, there is another question that is there is, do you prefer making new friends? Do you prefer making new friends or maintaining old friendships? Why? It is all about your preferences. Now, you're gonna prefer one thing over the other. You're gonna say something good about them. You're gonna say bad things also. That all depends upon you. And the potential idioms that you can use in this scenario, particularly for maintaining old friendship, is to stand the test of time. Obviously, that friendship would be the strong friendship, and you are able to maintain the old friendship only when you are testing the you are standing the test of the time, or you're standing at the tough time or something like that. And when you have the tendency, or when you have the propensity of rekindling any friendship, then also there you can see that like friendship is going to, you know, prosper with the passage of time. And then when you're putting in some efforts to let it let it go sometimes, and keep or maintain the relationship of friendship, then another thing that's very important is why. When to answer why, you have to create reasons for it. Do you prefer making new friends, old or maintaining old friendships? Why? So I would prefer, like, the or is there, then definitely I would say that I would prefer maintaining my old friendships, because that shows that how like pacific I am in my life. One thing. Another point is that that the person who stands the test of the time would be a real friend of the other person. And same way, like I have so many in my group that who stood the test of the time and are still with me. May it be my colleagues during my school teaching period, or may it be my childhood friend. There would be many. Okay, all were good, all are good. It all depends upon your mindset, that how you see your friends. So if your mindset is good, your friends are good. If your mindset is negative, then your friends are negative. You would definitely brag bad things. There are situations when the friends are not in your on your not in your corner. It doesn't mean that they never wanted to be, but obviously, with the passage of time, if the relationship is um, vague, or you're growing apart, that means you were not made for each other. You were not made to stand by each other in the tough times. So that is a scenario. Then thereafter, the next question is, do you have a friend who you consider your best friend? That's very easy. That's very easy. And why you consider that person to be your best friend, and what are the different reasons? And most of the time, whenever I prepare the beginners for the IELTS examination, I've heard the answers like he's my he's my best friend just because he helps me in completing my homework. So that's so mean. That's so selfish of yours, that you think that your friendship is just meant for completing your homework. It's like you're not understanding the meaning of the real friendship. So the real friendship is to have an empathy for other, or to have someone's ear, like somebody is able to listen to you when your time is tough and you nobody else is understanding you. That person is standing by you and understanding you, and is making you understand that you are wrong somewhere and you're right somewhere, something like that. If that is your friend, then definitely you are good. You're good to go. You're having a good friend, and that is your best friend. But that doesn't mean like if somebody is not helping you out in your completing your homework, that means the person is bad. Maybe the person is trying to let you understand the lesson of life, that you should do the things on your own. But when it comes to the friendship, like if you are in an ordeal or in your tough time, then I'm standing by you during that period of time. So that's the scenario. In someone's corner, like if somebody is standing in your corner in your tough time, or in the period of the need, in the need of that, a friend in need is a friend indeed. We talked about that in the last session about the friendship. So, and the people who know how to pick up from where they left would be the ones to be your great friend of yours. A friend, like you can use the old like idioms also in these questions as well. Like, do you have a friend whom you consider to be your best friend? What is your answer? You can just send me in the text message, in as a comment in this particular live session later on, or once it is uploaded, then you can send me that as an answer from your end in the written way, or you can actually record your audio. And if you know me really well and you have my WhatsApp number, you can send me the audio that I have actually answered for this one, and I have tried to use your given idioms in my answer. So I would be really obliged. I would be really happy to listen to your answer. There's no issue with that. And I would give you the feedback right away. Don't worry. So once I would listen to that, I would give you the feedback right away. I don't have any kind of cuss over that, you know, that I won't give you the answer for that. Then next is the second part in your speaking exam, that is a cue card. If it comes in the cue card, so all those ones that we have already discussed earlier in the questions, you can use few of them and few of them in your cue card. Main purpose of actually using all of these idioms is to actually tell the person that you know English really well and you know some of the idiomatic phrases. And these idioms actually are the literary terms, which are actually having the real meaning different, the real significance is different of the words, but the literal meaning is different, that we have discussed already for many a times. So the cue card, if comes, describe the close friend you have, all those, you know, you can recap all those idioms in that. Describe a close friend you have. You should say how you met the person, met this person, uh, your close friend, and then what you like about them and how your friendship has grown over time. So you're gonna talk about how you met the person, first question. Second is, what did you like about the person, or what you like about the person still, and then how your friendship has grown over time, like how the phases of friendship occurred. So, and explain why this friendship is important to you, the reasons for the importance of that particular friendship you're going to talk about in the answer. Now when it comes to the cue card, I haven't talked about that much in the previous session, but I would say something in this particular session when it comes to the cue card preparation. One thing that every time I suggest my student is to talk about the whole concept first. When it comes, because when you're going to answer these questions, when you're going to give the reasons for each and every point in that, it would take around more than one and a half minute, 1.5 minute, and half a minute you can brag about or speak about, or you can pass your time about talking about the friendship. Like in this particular case, is a friendship, why friendship is important. Like on the superficial note, you're going to talk about friendship first. Okay, what is friendship? Why it is important? Like for example, if in my case, if somebody would give me the time and even I don't have to think about it, I would say that, oh my God. So the thing is, being friend to someone is really important these days. Nowadays, aloofness, because of the social networks, because of the kind of stress and anxiety that occurs to one person, requires a good friend. And friendship is that blessing which helps us to get rid of that anxiety and stress. Here, I would like to talk about one of my close friend. Okay, then you're gonna start your narrating the tale of your friend. Then you're gonna talk about your own friend, how you're gonna, help the other person to understand what your emotions are for that particular person, like how you met this person. I met him in my childhood. Our relationship go way back to our kindergarten. We were childhood friends and we have met each other um, like during that particular period, and then thereafter you're going to talk about what you like about them, and then you're going to say that we stick together as friends till our high school. And during those period of time, I liked a lot of things about my friend. One of the best thing that I liked in him, or I really appreciate about him, is helping others. I have seen him taking care of the elderly. I have seen him helping his mother out in the household chores. So something like that. So when you're gonna frame sentences, you're gonna build up a story for yourself, and you don't require somebody else to actually help you out in building up the answer in that scenario. I would say that. And another thing is like making a cap or making an umbrella for the answer. When you are gonna make the umbrella, every WH word will have its own space, because you don't have the time to answer all those questions in written form. You cannot write that in 1 minute. You'll have 1 minute to prepare for your cue card, and then you don't have time for, you know, writing down all those answers in lines. And obviously, if you will write it down also, you won't have time to speak them out in front of the examiner. So all in all, the thing that remains still is, or that remains intact is that you're gonna write pinpoints, not the whole thing. For example, how you met the person. You're gonna write the time period. You're gonna write the kindergarten. That's it. Then you're gonna frame the sentences on your own. If you don't have that level of making the statements at that time, that means you're not ready for the exam. Or you have to write only kindergarten. And then what you like about them. Then you're gonna write one, two, three, four, 4 points. One is hardworking, um, helping others out, working at home, or something like that. So you have written 3 points. That's it. So not the whole sentence. You don't have to write the whole sentence, only a word, and then you have to speak it out. Nothing to worry about then. Then thereafter, how your friendship has grown over time, the way the friendship has gone, or like by sticking together or by maintaining the relationship, by bridging the gaps, something like that. You can use some idioms along, and then you're gonna fix out your answer. The last but not the least is very important answer, and which is actually going to take you to your last point. That is, ultimately, that would be your reasons for your importance of the friendship. Why that is important? Because I believe I cannot live away from my friend that much. So we are so close that living separately from each other is like a hell for us, something like that. So you can use that one, like, and to water the friendship, we do this or that or something like that, you can say. So that's how it is. You have to have someone to listen to you. You have to have someone who is your childhood sweetheart, because he is my childhood sweetheart. You can say that, and then thereafter, that's the way you're gonna actually write down the reasons. Again, the reasons will come. So when you're gonna give the reasons for that, then definitely you will have your 2 minutes already done for that. Okay. And then thereafter, the potential idioms that you can use in this particular cue card are to go way back, to tell that when you met the friend, and friendly competition like between you and your friend, and to stand the test of time, to tell that like he stood the test of time sometimes, and I stood the test of time. Chip of the old block, he's a chip of the old block, uh, just because. He's like somebody, he's like the parents or something like that. To water the friendship, I told you that, like how to do that. So then thereafter, there are some questions related to discussion part, like that is third part. I would say that I'm just giving you a hypothetical scenario, but the answers are real. I'm telling you, you can frame the answers in this formation in this way so that your answers will go correct. Let me tell you, when you're doing the discussion part of your speaking exam, you are supposed to speak maximally. You are supposed to speak about different ages, age groups. You have to speak about the teenagers, you have to talk about the adults, you have to talk about the old age people, you have to talk about, you have to express yourself, you have to express your own opinion as well, like why you think like that, and you have to give reasons, and you have to use the connectors to answer your question. Let me tell you, it's very easy. It's very easy when it comes to actually the beginning of preparation. It looks like we are on a tough journey, but once you are ready with all those kind of weapons that you're going to use in framing your answers, that then you're ready to go with it. Then thereafter, the questions are friendship in different stages of life. How do friendship change from childhood to adulthood? You see, the two age groups are being in the question, childhood and adulthood. Now, how the things really change for both of the age groups. So you're going to talk about that, and the idioms which are encouraged to be used in this one are to be to grow apart, to relive the old good old days or golden days, you can say that, to pick up from from where you left. If you have already used any of them, don't use them again. I'm telling you, repetition of the idioms is also not right. So don't use them, because that's why I'm giving you all of these idioms in plenty. So you need not to worry about that. Why is it sometimes difficult to maintain friendships as you get older? Why it is? What are the different reasons? In my point of view, in my opinion, as far as my mind goes, I would say that there are lots of reasons, um, like why it becomes tough uh, to to let the friendships run smoother. I'm not using the same word. I'm actually paraphrasing that one. So as you get older, as you get into your adulthood or something like that, then you're gonna say that what are the different reasons? Again, you're going to use the idioms like out of sight, out of mind, to put in and the effort or to bridge the gap or something like that. You can use. Then these questions were about friendship in different stages of life. Now, friendships and technology. Do you think technology has made it easier or harder to maintain friendship? I would say that. I would definitely say, in my opinion, as far as my perspective is concerned, I would say that it has made it quite easier since um, we have the social networking sites. We got lots of ways to connect to each other and send some kind of smileys, emoticons, and to express our reactions when there are kind of jubilations and celebrations and the kind of achievement somebody gets. We try to motivate each other in some way or something like that. So that's how it is. Technology has a good reason to stay. So then, how has social media changed the way people form and maintain friendship? That one of the different ways that it has changed. So bridging the gap to keep the spark alive, miles apart but close at heart. All those kind of idioms are possibly to be used in this scenario. And how has social media changed the way people form and maintain friendship? So by rekindling the friendship, sometimes if that the relationship is broken, still they do something out of sight, out of mind, and this is the way that like the social media has come into play, where the the probability and the possibility of a person to actually go to another relation is more just because of the social networking site. And people must have they have a friendly competition sometimes when they're using the social networking sites, one way or the other way. Then the last kind of questions that I have for you, these two I hope that you have understood. And then there is qualities of good friends. So when we are seeing a question, we have to see the question word first of all. What qualities do you think? What qualities? What are the different qualities? Do you think that are most important in good friends? And we have the different important terms, words like good friend, qualities of a good friend, qualities of the bad friend, qualities of this friend, qualities of that friend. We have to have that in our mind to frame an answer. So when you say that if somebody is good, somebody would listen to you very well, like somebody would have the ear for you, and somebody would be standing by your corner. Somebody would stand the test of the time. So that's how you're going to talk about the quality. Okay, you're going to talk about the qualities. What qualities do you think are most important in good friends? So good friends, first of all, are not very easy to find out. However, if I would say that somebody who has a tendency and who has the capacity to listen to me and who would definitely give an ear to me, like when somebody is not understanding me or nobody else is understanding me, then definitely that person has a good quality, first good point or first important point for being my friend. Another good point is to constructively criticize me when I'm going wrong somewhere. So there you're talking about another quality which I never mentioned before in the previous other lines that I spoke to you. Last but not the least, the last question is, do you think friends should have similar interests or different ones? Why? I would say that I don't think so that all the people are, I would say, different. We need to say that. And I would say that we should not. mm, it's a blessing in disguise if you guys are similar in interest, but if your interests are not same and still your friend, I think that friendship is the coolest friendship ever. Okay, and the one who the one or two idioms to be used in this one, the two peas in the pod. Okay, or you can say that the one who knows how to iron out the differences, um, those relationships are stronger one, I would say. And those would have the similar interest, different interest, it doesn't matter at all. So it depends upon your perspective. Your perspective can't be the same as mine. Mine won't be same as yours. So I would say that this is the way we frame the answers for um, the questions, and especially when it comes to making answers for the questions on friendship, uh, we need to be very careful. So, so that we are not going to speak something negative about anyone. And whenever you're framing your answer, I would say that give the natural answer. Never try to copy anyone. Never try to actually find out answer written in the lines from somewhere. Not a book particularly. You can get a glimpse of it so that you can frame your own answer, but should not make things words by copying same words, same statements. Okay. That is how the things should really work for you. And I would say that it is the end of the second part of the idioms on friendship, and it is the end of the particular topic on friendship. We'll talk about that later on in classes as well. But for now, I would say that I appreciate your absence. I appreciate your presence in any way I can go. So thank you for joining me or not joining me later on. I would say that suggest my channel to somebody else who is really in the need of these lessons, and tell the person that somebody's trying to help out people in a positive way. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Take care. Have a good one. Bye bye.